Hello, and welcome to yet another podcast in our Stop Bullying series. I'm your host and founder of Toley Ranz, Wolf. Thank you for joining me. We have a great show today with a lot of information. First of all, for those of you who are listening in for the first time, I have taught in inner city project schools where children had lack of everything. I created the Toley Ranz Program to provide children with inner strength and peace of soul. I wanted them to live without fear. For this program, I was nominated for the National Presidential Service Award and was honored by former President Bill Clinton. I am also a member of the National Registry for Outstanding Professionals and award-winning life and coach. Now, that's enough about me. So let's see. First of all, I urge you, do not miss the upcoming podcast in 2 weeks with the overarching theme of saving and protecting our young children from developing devastating emotional traits. And as you maybe, hopefully, remember in our last podcast, we introduced the Toley Ranz before method, meaning we must intervene before things happen. Before is necessary so we do not have to say stop bullying, which is after the fact and after the damage is done. We're all very well aware that can include behavioral problems, emotional and mental issues, sadness, and symptoms of being bullied, and so much more. And there is one particular topic we will address, and that is what scientists call a mass shooter trait, or developing devastating emotional traits. It's based in childhood, in young childhood, trauma, and is a form of reality loss, isolation, depression, and ends in lashing out, wrapped in anger and sometimes even rage. I ask you, really, think about it. Is saying stop bullying still enough? No, of course not. It is not. Therefore, we must. Yes, I emphasize must take a different or an adjusted direction against violence and bullying in our schools. Our Toley Ranz program focuses on the parents first. Self-care for parents is vital. And if you're okay, they're okay. So here we go. Today, I'm addressing what we as parents and grandparents can do before bullying happens, how it develops, and why we, the parents, grandparents, caregivers, teachers, must care and take care of ourselves. I mean, taking care of ourselves and finding some daily peace within it is absolute priority. And then we can change our approach, change our attitude toward the phrase stop bullying or anti-bullying. And we can stand firm in a much more rigorous prevention tactic and its implementation, which I am laying out for you. Self-care for parents, and I said teachers, grandparents, and caregivers are definitely included. Everybody who is working with children. Self-care is the foundation to implement the Toley Ranz before method. Because, well, why? Because we, the adults, the parents, we have to be looking at ourselves, how we're taking care of ourselves. If we're not strong, how can we teach and be a model for our children? So how can your self-care strengthen your kids? You're okay. They're okay. Do you know that the how in stop bullying is missing? Saying stop is not enough. Teaching how could help. How to prevent emotional harmful traits. Preventing emotional impact of external impact, which a mass shooting is. How can you implement the Toley Ranz before method? Those topics and so much more we're going to talk about. And we also will point to the shop in toleyranz.com where you can get the books and listen to the end. You can get many, many free things directly from me, the author. Yes, we're going to be focusing on the before the damage is done. So it all starts within ourselves, our own perception of who we are and what we expect of others. We can only expect what we're able to and willing to give. Doesn't that make sense? Of course it does. Listen, you can do that. So now let's go to work. I ask you, does stop bullying or anti-bullying, does it still work? Do these phrases have any meaning already? When children say stop bullying, the bully doesn't stop. And the child who says it is helpless because nothing is changing. So anytime we say stop, we need to know how to. Isn't that right? So I say stop bullying. We have to. No, I have to teach how. Here are a few examples to make kind of a simple approach. So, if the traffic sign says stop, what do? You stop because you know how to hit the brakes, right? Because you learned how to. You model for your child. Or the teacher says, stop talking. So your child is quiet, or at least you hope so, right? Because you taught them and they learned how to do it from you at home. And if you're at a traffic light crossing and it says, don't walk in red, you teach your child to stop walking and wait until it's green. Your child learns from you before they go to kindergarten. Your children learn from you that the word stop has, at times, even severe consequences. Ergo, you teach your children, your kids learn from you before they are ready for kindergarten and school. So, if you can teach your child to stop when the light is red, your child knows and goes by that rule, by that knowledge. Now, if you say, stop bullying, what happens? Nothing. Because kids have not learned how to do so, nor have the adults. Honestly, do you know how to stop bullying? Most likely you are at a loss, as everyone else is. I say, stop bullying. What happens? Nothing, dear listener. Nothing happens. The bullying goes on. Your kids suffer because kids do not know how to stop it. Do you? Remember, anytime we say no or stop, we create a void. And we must fill the void those two words create and fill it with something new. Let me repeat that. Anytime we say no or stop, there is a void because it's instant. And to initiate a reaction, we need to fill the void with something new or a diversion. Here, I want to list a few examples. Very simple. Stop crying. You ask yourself, what is it my child is crying for or about? Diversion. Oh, look, a bug, a spider. Next one. No, you can't have candies. You can have a peach. Or the diversion. Would you like to try this? Let's try a third one. Stop teasing your sister. I need your help. The diversion is, whatever happened to the little colorful car or toy? Can you help me for just a moment? You divert the child from teasing the sister. The diversion creates the part you're using to fill the void. Stop or no created. Here's one more. No. You refer, no, you cannot watch TV. I'd like for you to read the instructions here on this baking package. The diversion is, did you see this, what I picked up from the store? Oh gosh, did you see the new game? Can you help me here for the moment? That is the diversion which fills the void of the no or the stop. So if we say stop bullying, what happens? Until now, nothing happens. So don't you agree that saying stop bullying is easily said? But how do we stop it? We must learn to stop it. That's why parent self-care is the utmost important first step in any change that is required for any change regarding kids and family. Self-care means you, the parent, come first. You matter more than anything else, no matter what. Sounds selfish? Yes. Yes, I say yes and yes again, because only when you are okay, they are okay. You come first, period. Are you stressed? You reach the end of the rope? Experience burnout? Believe me, we all do it sometimes. And we all wonder sometimes how to get our kids to comply without screaming or losing it, right? Whew, I know. Please believe me. Been there, done that. I believe the following steps give you a vital self-care point or points on this journey of self-awareness, because again, you take care of yourself. Then, only then, can you and will you take care of your kids in a much more balanced and harmonious way. Step 1, become an emotional detective. Know that your child depends on you and is waiting for your guidance. Remember, your child only cares about one thing: getting their needs met. And once you understand this, you'll shift your focus from how do I get them to stop, or how do I get them to comply and listen? So you change to, what is it my child needs right now? That doesn't mean that your child get the candy or can watch TV. No. There is a deeper meaning. And once you recognize whatever need your child has, you're able to meet this need, and all the emotion melts away. Become an emotional detective is becoming more aware of what your child's emotional needs are. Meaning, you need to find out why they are crying. That also means for you to be curious instead of furious. And then only then can kids use a clearer head and even reason to comply with whatever requests you have. Step 2. The emotional detective at work. When a breakdown happens, it starts with you. Be curious instead of furious. Assess the situation quickly. Begin asking result-oriented questions. Are you hurt? Did you lose something? Did you fall? Determine what your child needs now. Please be aware of that. Sometimes it can be hard for even as adults to verbalize what we want in a situation. Can you imagine how much more difficult it might be for your little one? They only have a fraction of our vocabulary and far less understanding of their own emotions. Guide them through their emotions. Believe me, I know. Been there, done that. Get a clear understanding of frustration and anger, both yours and your child's. What it is, where does it come from, what to do with it, and how can you change it? So you might want to ask yourself, what is it that I, the parent, grandparent, teacher, need right now? Is it cooperation? Do I need the feeling of being heard? Do I need help with chores? Or do I need them to listen to my demand, no matter what it is? Stop fighting with your siblings. Or do I need an MMM, my mindful moments, time for myself? Or do they just need to listen to me, or they need a hug? Then, after understanding what you need, you can then begin to get a handle on what your child's needs are by asking again response-oriented questions. Step 3. Avoiding common frustrations, stress-related anxieties by eliminating negotiations with your children. Setting mutually agreed on limits and boundaries in advance, like setting time frames for TV, internet, phone, etc. No, that means positive cooperation. Those positive cooperation limits and boundaries is the timetable also for homework, dinner, room cleaning, chores, and so much more. Eliminating the negotiations by having a time frame, timetable. It eliminates the back and forth, and it allows all parties to have a clear understanding of what could happen next. So, rules, schedule, plans, and be precise. when you develop them and develop them with them together. I do want to emphasize this. It is the most difficult to have a clear understanding of what could happen next. The consequences need to be very clear for any child because we get weak. We go back to our threats and promises and decisions and maybe even dealing with them again. And they know this. The kids know it and use us. Therefore, one of the most effective strategies for healthy parenting is staying firm. Are you asking why this strategy works? Well, let me ask you, why is it that all you have tried did not work? Well, our approach takes out all the charge of the moment and gives you the time and space you, the parent, need to explore what's really happening and causing your child's emotional breakdown. Instead of taking it personal and responding with big emotions of your own, you are meeting the needs of your child by meeting the emotions with patience, understanding, love, and empathy. You model for your children how to handle big emotions. That's tolerancing for the future. That's showing them how you built your inner strength, your self-belief, your standing up to adversities. The secret is modeling how you navigate those big emotions by showing them yourself to them. Imagine a more pleasant future for you and your children, because the breakdowns become fewer and fewer. I would love for you to be really be aware that your self-care gives you the self-assurance, the self-belief to deal with your child's needs with understanding and love. We are the one-stop program for parents' emotional health and being mindful adults. I penned the book for you, the parents and listeners of today's show, because it begins with us, the parents. Only we can initiate change in our kids and for our kids. And always know, only you can model the how and the before for your kids. Children of ages 4 to 10 are most vulnerable. They deserve our protection. They demand our protection so they can grow into emotionally healthy teens. Please understand, on this journey, we take a close look at 3 powerful goals. Make those goals your goals. First, self-awareness and self-management constitutes your self-power. The second one is that social interpersonal relationship skills are relationship powers, impacting your relationship with your children. And thirdly, we look at ethical decision-making skills, which are responsible for actions that lead to our overall self-power. Then and only then, as I said before, can your knowledge and those skills and those experiences you acquired be transferred to your children as a lasting impact on their lives. You teach them before they experience life at school. You model them how to be emotionally strong and stand up for a self before they experience negativities at kindergarten. You are teaching your children how to feel secure within themselves, how to find positive solutions to daily challenges, how to improve parent-child relationships. Most of all, this parent self-care program helps you, the parents, become aware of own inner strength. You ask why this works? Well, the Toley Ranz Program is the only entity on the market that approaches the before from within oneself, whether adult or child. We instill inner strength, self-value, and the courage to stand to bullies strong enough for them to cower. Yes, let's turn the tables. Have your children show the bullies who is stronger in the long run. That is before the damage is done. Those values are the key components to the success of Toley Ranz Program, because we stop things before they can cause damage. Our next podcast in 2 weeks is all about the before method and how to use it and how to implement it, with all the details and examples you need to implement it at home with your children. And one more thing, I hope you might have paper and pencil ready for that next program in 2 weeks, okay? In the meantime, I urge you to visit and check out the Toley Ranz Program at www.toleyranz.com. You spell Toley Ranz, TOLEYRANC. Or send me an email at info@toleyranz.com. And if you can put the code word down before, you will receive a free gift with a value of $25. So, be well. Thank you for spending your valuable time with me. I'm signing off till next week. That is not next week. In 2 weeks, with a heartfelt thank you and aho.